All right, what's up my brothers? I got a useful video for you today. I had one of my community members send in some details on Latin dance, bachata, kizomba, all that sort of stuff. I think there's some good lessons here for guys to learn when it comes to dealing with women on a long-term basis. Maybe if they have a gal in their life that likes to go dancing on them, and even for guys that are looking to meet attractive and fit women. So I'll read his message here to me, and then I'll provide a little bit of feedback, because I've actually got some first-hand experience in this as well, even though I'm not a very good dancer. Hey Rich, so the essence of the Latin dance screen I'll describe from my own experience as a sexual priming marketplace marketed towards women. Basically, I would describe it as a place where women pay money to grind up against some hot Latin guys. Think of it as a strip club for women. The instructors are usually some hot Latin guy or the equivalent, and this thing as a whole is a great starting ground for dorks who have zero game and are just starting dating. The demographic of women range from several avatars, which I'll describe below, and then describe my own experiences. So it looks like there's 3 different avatars. First, so we have the corporate boss babe that just turned 30 for the sake of this channel. I guess he's writing this for my YouTube. We'll call her Becky. Boss babe Becky, the modern boss babe from the Unplugged Alpha. Thanks, Rich, for those reading the book. We'll just get it. So I'll have my editor put up an image of that. Who recently turned 30 and simultaneously signs up for yoga, Pilates, CrossFit, and of course, Latin dancing. Becky is usually a goal-driven and almost exclusively interested in the instructor only. She's difficult to dance with and will only follow the lead of the instructor on the dance floor. And partner dancing, there's always a lead and follow. You guys should understand that, and that type of dancing. I would advise against going for Becky, he's saying. Even if she gives signals. If you hook up with her, she'll likely stir up a lot of crap on the dance community and the group. And because of the stir, and he says, I've seen this with my own eyes in brackets. After reading The Unplugged Alpha, my book, I identified the category immediately, though, and steered clear. Although, I've seen a few guys fall for this trap and had their reputations absolutely ruined. Avatar number 2, he's calling her Rachel. Rachel's also 30-ish. She just came out of a 7-year relationship with her ex and is similarly doing yoga and Latin dance with Becky. Unlike Becky, though, her expectations are a little bit more realistic. Through grief and loss, she has generally been looking for a bit of fun and willing to hook up with a guy if he's cute enough and he can dance just okay. Rachel's the best type of girl in the scene, and I've had 2 on and off again short-term relationships in this category, and there's generally no issues. And then the third type is what he calls Costa Rica Calorie. I can't even say it without laughing. Costa Rica Carolina is a hot Latin girl who loves attention and flirting. She's also 30 or younger, and she will stare deep into the eyes of every guy she dances with, and many dudes make the mistake of those stares for affection and ask her out, but she rejects them all. This is because she already has a ton of sugar daddies that satisfy her financial and sexual desires. And lastly, there's the over 30 crowd, or mostly the 40-plus crowd. This group is great for younger guys looking for fun and are a bit low on money or status, but look okay and know their way around the dance floor. The 40-plus crowd are usually professional women and have time and disposable income for dance classes and intelligent enough to engage in casual hookups semi-responsibly. They're often post-divorce with good settlements or simply career women. Some of them have kids, and they don't care much about money, and they just are looking for fun. He goes on to say, I've also had 2 on and off again short-term relationships in this category, and there's no issues with the 40-plus crowd. Hopefully, this should offer some rudimentary introduction to the scene for guys exploring different dating grounds. One reason I'd recommend the scene for this guys who have zero game but are willing to try new things. But I've seen absolute dorks come onto the dancing scene, and a year later, they're unrecognizable. From whitewash office dork, awkward as F, bumbling nerd, and now he's suddenly Carlos Montoya, the hot Latin guy, shirt buttons undone, chain hanging from the chest, burning up the dance floor and taking home the babes. The nature of mate selection, hypergamy, or mate competition is that Latin partner dancing, it happens all the time. He's saying this happens all the time, that type of dancing. The women are ruthless, and you quickly realize what moves they respond to and what they don't respond to. Out of a natural male competitiveness, dancing men quickly get their hair done, wear tight clothing, wear cologne and breath mints. They start hitting the bench press and do every possible thing to peacock on the dance floor, where the women decide who's hot and who's not. The teacher is usually helpful and live vicariously through the drama that naturally ensues. If you can adapt and be the man or they want you to be, you can get laid. If you sit and sulk and complain, you're obviously going to create disgust and disapproval. It's hilarious, but it's true. This is what happens. The key specific dances guys need to learn are called sensual bachata or kizomba. I'm going to tell a very personal story in a moment because I dated a chick that actually taught this stuff. Because they're slower and involve full body contact, chest to chest, often thigh to thigh. Due to this, they're gaining in popularity, and sensual bachata is the fastest growing partner dance because it's the easiest to learn the basics and it's super sexy. There you have it, guys. Salsa's okay, but not as close as bachata and kizomba, so it's harder to lead and stimulate feelings of attraction. Tango is also a close hold dance and extremely sensual. There's actually a guy in my community that's a very good tango dancer and does quite well. But the musicality is much harder than other dances, and that particular niche scene is more upper class than other Latin scenes, so you have to have a little bit of a stiff upper lip for that one, and generally attracts a older crowd, so 40-50 plus. There's also a lot of other great styles. In my opinion, Latin is the most sexiest and most conducive to the hookup culture. Some of the hookups lead to relationships, but the scene generally is fairly promiscuous, so try not to fall in love or overtly invest emotionally. Just have fun, be responsible, and take what happens with a grain of salt. And if people do talk crap about you, don't worry about it too much. It's not personal. It's just part of the dance scene. All right, let's hit the road. I got some feedback for you. I've got some interesting and funny personal stories around this, actually, because I dated a few women that were into the dance scene. One of them was a dance instructor, and she was a little bit younger. I think she was a 30-ish. And another one was a gal that I dated for a while, and she was a single mom, and she liked to go out salsa dancing, is what she would call it, with her friends. I didn't really think much of it at the time. I was always a little bit suspicious of it because, you know, she took me out one time, and I sort of saw what went down. It's exactly like you described. It's like these Latin chads. They're in good shape, and they're generally good looking-ish, not always, but they got the moves. They're really, really good with the moves, and women love the moves. And what they do on the dance floor, they call it dancing, but it's really softcore porn, if we're being honest. That's really what goes down. There's a lot of very closeness, intimacy, grinding, in some cases almost humping, dry humping. It's not where you'd want to send your wife or your girlfriend. Let me just put it that way. It's like you're sending, you know, your sheep or your cattle out into the field with no electric fences and no sheepdogs to guard them, and there's salivating wolves in the woods waiting to like pounce on them. That's essentially what you're doing when you let your woman go to these kinds of dance clubs. So, you know, a word of caution there for guys that are in relationships or getting into new dating scenes and they're dealing with women that like to go dancing. I remember one time I got a text message from this chick that I was dating on a long-term basis, and she said, hey, I'm going out dancing with so-and-so. I think her name was Amy, was her friend. And she goes, by the way, you know, we're not dating, you know, I just like dancing, sort of thing. And, you know, like implying that she was dating Amy or whatever. After I saw what went down on the dance floor, and this was kind of, you know, before my unplugging sequences, I obviously have changed my opinion and, you know, the stance I have on that. And I mean, if you're spinning plates and you're dating non-monogamously, casually, they're going to go out and do what they do, who cares? But once they start asking for more commitment or they want more from you, and you should of course look at their habits. You know, if they're the kind of gals that like to dance and do that sort of stuff, you know, the chance of something bad happening exists. I often get criticized and like, oh, you know, you should just trust her. It's like, yeah, you know, I trust the locks on my car, but I'd rather have my car in my garage locked up in there than in a crappy neighborhood where there's a lot of crime and car thefts and carjacking locked over there. You know, the chance of something bad happening over there are a lot higher than in my garage, obviously. So, you know, you take that with a grain of salt as well, too. So dance in general, like Latin dances, is a honeypot, you know, if I'm being honest. I'm not a good dancer. I'm that guy that has a few drinks, and I don't usually drink that often, but I'm that guy that has a few drinks, and I think I'm a good dancer, but I probably look like Elaine Bennis from Friends. Maybe my editor can find a video and put a clip up on that for you guys so you get a visual of it. But that's not my thing. I'm not coordinated in that sense, and to be honest with you, I don't really care. I'm not going to go out of my way to go and learn and do something that I'm clearly not good at or not coordinated to do. Now, that being said, if you're a single guy and you like women, it is very easy for you to do well in that environment if you can learn some of the basic moves. I mean, if a guy like Aaron Cleary can do it, you can do it too, trust me. Shout out to Aaron. Now, I also had a very short-term experience with a gal for a few months that was a dance instructor, and she would do kizomba, bachata, salsa, tango, professional stuff, and like very good at what she did. And I took dance lessons from her, you know, I can put it that way, but she wanted to teach me how to dance, obviously. You know, she liked me and she wanted to do things with me that she kind of enjoyed. So it seemed reasonable for her at that time to say, hey, you know, let me take you out on a dance lesson sort of thing. And we did it a number of times in her condo. They had kind of this like mirrored room with the kind of floor that you need to sort of train on. And the interesting part about it is that I learned that the vast majority of dance partners that she had professionally and for competition are actually gay. So there's not much to worry about from that sense or regard in the professional sense when it comes to the professional dance and the dance exhibitions. But on a social level, when women go out to these nightclubs and they go dancing, or they go out for salsa, you have to understand they've spent hours getting dressed up, doing their hair and makeup, putting on all the right clothes to look fit and sexy, and they're out for the evening with guys. Like I said, it's like putting the sheep out to pasture, and the wolves are in the forest waiting for the sun to go down to pounce on the flock. That's essentially what it is. I would not be letting that go down. I remember her friend, this gal that I dated on a longer term basis that liked salsa dancing, she was divorced, had a kid, and had a new guy that she had a kid with, younger child, and she would leave her kid from a prior relationship with her boyfriend, along with the new baby with her boyfriend, while she would go out to the clubs dancing with my girlfriend at the time. It's bad news bears, guys. There's no good that can come of that. If you're a single guy, what this guy is saying is absolutely true. It's a honeypot, go. Another honeypot is probably something like hot yoga, right? It's mostly women that do it, or maybe some gay guys. So you've got the odds stacked in your favor in an environment like that. So you might want to contemplate that if you're a single guy. So the lesson here really is, guys, if you're single and you like attractive, fit women, go dancing. They're maybe not the best ones that you want a long-term relationship with. They're not ones that you may want to invite into your life. I mean, vet them accordingly. Do your due diligence and vet them up against the red flags. If you haven't got my book, you can get it. Otherwise, you can get the red flag chapter for free, pinned below in the top comment. Grab it over there. So be very discerning in your time and your taste with the entire situation on that level. But let me know what you guys think. Comment below. What's your experience been if you've danced in this kind of scene? What's your experience been as a guy that's had a gal that's gone out and done this sort of stuff? It's, in my opinion, if you're dealing with a woman on an intimate basis and she wants your commitment, it shouldn't be permitted. It's not something that should be allowed, but everybody has their own opinion on that. You can throw yours below. See you guys later. Peace out.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.